Hey guys, gals, and those who other self-identified, welcome back to my channel. So today I will be talking about a wonderful book which is called Eternally Damned by Rayne, and this is actually the first book in her Shadow Cove Dimensions series. And it's funny because I actually got into the series. I wanted to read the second book, which is called Eternally Damned, and then I found out it's a part of a series because I thought it was a standalone. So I was like, all right, fine, let me let me read the entire series because I want to read this book, so I'm gonna read everything in order, right? So definitely expect a video about that book coming soon, but let's get into Eternally Damned because it's crazy. So the story starts off with a, I'm gonna say young adult, I'm gonna say maybe like 24, 25-ish young woman, and her name is Maven, and she lives in Salem, Massachusetts. Now, for some reason, Maven is extremely unpopular in Salem. Like, all of the people look at her, they think that she's a witch or whatever, but you know, she never has done anything to prove these people right in any type of way like that. And so we start to learn that she has been obsessed with what we call the Monroe estate, which is like a late 1800s, early 1900s gothic rundown estate that sits like, you know, it's that creepy house that all the kids go past on Halloween because they think it's haunted and it's spooky and it's scary or whatever, and it like sits way off, you know, on the side of the city or whatever, and no one ever goes by it and no one's ever bought it. It's just sat there since, like I said, late 1800s, early 1900s. And for some reason, she's been just enamored with this fucking estate ever since she was 10 years old. And she's been saving and working and grinding. Literally, she's been grinding her ass off to try and own this house because she sees herself like she wants to own this house. And so we learned that she has this deep and really strange connection to the house, and we learned that she's living with her grandfather, who is her only guardian and only parent that she's ever known her entire life, besides her grandmother, who had died, you know, some years ago. But it's been her and her pa for the longest, and their cute little dog named Whiskey, but whatever. But yeah, so they've been living together, whatever, and her grandfather did nothing but just encourage her love of the estate and, you know, just push her, like, if you want this, go get it. Like, he's just supportive and loving, and he's just honestly the best. So, you know, she has her best friend Dottie, who she always talks to about this estate, and Dottie's a killer fucking, when I tell you Dottie is a killer best friend, she's like, you want that house, then you go fucking get that house. And if anybody talk shit to you, if anybody goes talk shit to you, then they gotta see me about it. Like, she is an amazing best friend, and like, they're like they are here with it when I tell you. But anyway, I'm getting distracted. Once she subsequently gains ownership of the estate, she starts to work on it because, like I said, this house is set since the late 1800s, early 1900s. So, you know, it's like it's been lost to time. So she's working on it. It's quite a fixer-upper, if you want to say. And she's building it to get it back to where it belongs. And she feels as though in the moment that she sets foot on the property, the house comes alive. And then she fully dives into her plan to start making the house back to what it once was. And through her time working on the house, you know, ripping out floorboards, you know, making new steps, etc., you know, home construction noises here and there, she finds that it's haunted, and she believes it's haunted by one of the people that used to live there, Alexander Monroe. So let me just say that in order to keep the book spoiler free, I'm not going to talk about Alexander that much. So now that she finds out her house is haunted, you know, she does the first thing that anybody ever thinks to do. She gets a Ouija board. Yeah, she gets a Ouija board to start talking to him, and as she's talking to him through the Ouija board, she starts to find out about, you know, who he is as a person, about the history of the house, history of his family. Well, you know, as much as he can remember, as like I said before, he's a ghost. So she's finding all of this out through him and spending more time at the mansion trying to figure out what exactly happened. Because like I said, the house is a fixer-upper, and I don't mean like, oh, this is like a cute little house and just fixer up. No, I mean like there's holes in the ceiling, like there's parts of it that have been burned down, like something happened at this house. Like, this house needs a fucking facelift, a BBL. This house needs everything. After spending a couple nights at the mansion talking with Alexander's ghost or whatever, she takes all of this information that she's learned and takes it back home to her pa. And with everything that she starts to tell him, he reveals to her about their family lineage, their connection to the house, and things of that nature. And pieces start to fall in place about why she's been so unpopular, why she felt the way that she has going to the house, and why the whole town looks at her like, you are very suspicious. And so everything starts to slowly make sense. As the story progresses, well, not progresses, I will say, we do see Alexander's point of view in different chapters in the book. It's like one chapter's his, one chapter's hers, one chapter's his, you know, back and forth like that. And we start to see him develop as a character, and we start to learn his place in Maven's life. And like I said, in order to keep this review spoiler free, I'm not going to talk about him a lot, but we do get to see him, I guess, come into himself as the chapters go on, just as we get to see Maven come into herself as the chapters go on. So that's all I'm gonna say about Alexander. That's it. Okay? Now, for my actual review of the book, I will say that this is, I would say, one of the shorter books that I've read. Like, you can see it's not very thick. It's only 279 pages, so it's not like a gargantuan book like Twilight or anything like that. And I feel like the story and the pacing of it is very good for what we're given to work with. It doesn't feel rushed and like you're reading the page and you're like, wait a minute, what just happened? Oh my god, what? Wait, I gotta connect this. It doesn't feel like that. It just flows naturally. And for me personally, I feel like it had a very good pace. Like it kept me on my toes. Like it kept me wanting to know what's coming next. Wait, I got questions. Are you gonna answer them in the next chapter? Like, what's going on? So it really did keep me interested in the story. But me personally, I would have liked there to be more details, because I'm just a very detail-oriented person. Like, I'm nosy, so I just want to know everything. Like, I have these questions in my head, and sure, you answer some of them before I can even think them, but what about these other ones? Like, more specifically, I would like to see Maven's character. Like, I would like to know more about her family, her lineage. Like, I just want the details. Like, I just want the filler. Like, I know a lot of people aren't really big on filler, but I want the filler. Give me the filler. Like, I do not care, just give it to me. That's just how I am. But other than that, it's really good. Like, it's the pacing is good to the point where you're reading it and next thing you know, you're done and you're like, wait, what just happened? Now, I will say that there are quite a few spicy scenes in the book, but they're not like, it's not like overwhelmingly spicy where you're like, damn, is there gonna be any character development, or is it just gonna be sex? Like, it's not like that. I feel like it develops organically, like you would see it in, I guess, everyday life. Like, you know, a couple living their life, it's how you would see it, in my opinion. And it's not, the way that it's written, it's not cringe where you're like, oh, I wish I never read that. Like, you don't get the feeling of being like 14 years old with your iPod reading Wattpad like 3 o'clock in the morning type of cringe, you know? It's natural and it just flows, and it really puts you in a, I guess you could say it puts you in a different mindset where it's not like I'm watching adult movie type of stuff. It's like, okay, these are clearly two people who have feelings for each other type of level. So it's not like crazy, ridiculous, like, oh my god, please hurry up and be done. I'm just trying to get to the story. Stop. Enough. It's leveled, which I love, honestly. Now, what would I rate this book? I would say on the spicy level, I would rate it 3 out of 5 chilies, simply because, like, I didn't mention this, but I should have, my bad. I read spicier novels, and I feel like the spice was like in the middle, and I'm used to the spice being like all the way to sky, you know? So for me personally, this was mid-level spice, but still good enough spice to keep me in the book, keep me engaged. Now, for the story, I will say I would also give it a 3 out of 5 stars, because like I said earlier, I want more details. I want the filler. I want the knowledge. I want to know. I'm just nosy like that. Like, that's just me personally. Is it a good book? Hell yeah, this is a good book. And honestly, I never loan out any of my books unless I truly trust you. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna let somebody borrow this, if I'm being completely honest. I don't know. But the story it's really good, and I feel like based on everything that I have read it, everything I've read it so far in the spicy universe, in the land of the spice, everything that I've read so far, I would say this is a good place to start if you're just now getting into spicy novels and romance and things of that nature. This is a good place to start, and it's not that long. Like I said, it's only 279 pages, and it has a good story and a good level of spice to keep you going, and it won't make you feel like you just walked out of a corn studio, you know? Like, you'll finish reading, and you're like, okay, that wasn't bad. Like, I don't feel embarrassed. I don't feel ashamed. Like, I feel like this is a good place to start. So 3 out of 5 stars and 3 out of 5 chiles. And I think it's an amazing book. So like I mentioned earlier, I will be reading the second book because I feel like the book left off with me. Like I said, I'm nosy, so this is just a me thing. The book left me wanting to know more about Maven's story and wanting to know everything that's going to be going on in her life since the book started. Like now I just want to know everything. So I will be reading the second book, like I said, which is Eternally Cursed. As you can see, this is a thicker boy. Got some more heft to it. So I'm very excited with all the details, and I've already started reading it a little bit. So look out for the review on that as well. And if you do decide to read Eternally Damned, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. And if you have read this entire Shadow Cove Dimensions series, please don't spoil it. Please do not spoil it for me, because I will cry in the bathtub with the shower running on cold for days. I will cry. The worst thing you can do to me is spoil a book. I love reading, and if you spoil a book, you're dead to me. You're dead to me. That's it. But like I said, I will be reading this, and if you do want to pick up your own copy of Eternally Damned, they are both on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited, I believe. I'll put links to all of that down below. I'll put links to I'll put the Amazon links down below. I'll even put down like a little website about the author, about Rayne, so you can read about her and her other works and things like that. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know what your thoughts are down below. If you're gonna read this book, if you're kind of like, what is it about? And if you are reading like spicy novels right now, if you got any recommendations, just put them down below. I'm always looking for a new book, even though I shouldn't. You know, I got plenty of books that are not read yet, but you know, we're not gonna talk about all that. But anyway, I hope to see you guys in the next one, and I hope you guys have a good one. Peace.